Yo ho ho, the bottle of sake. How's it going, my fellow Homo sapiens? It's your boy Uzumaki Hadou, and today I'm coming at you with my Paleozoic Frog build. This is the long edition. So Paleozoics are trap monsters that special summon themselves out of the graveyard when a trap card on the field is activated. Now the weakness for Paleozoics are cards like Dekasenka, Genzo, and World Decree. Some of the benefits of playing the new Paleozoic Frog build with the new Paleozoic support is to utilize Treat Toad, also known as Totally Awesome. And not just that, spamming the field and just really shutting your opponent down. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this deck build. Alright, so here is the Paleozoic Frog build, and this is going to be the very long deck build, and the main reason it's going to be long is because I'm going to explain a lot of stuff here. And I'm going to let you know why I play it and how I play it. So with the Paleozoics, we're going to just talk about the effects. I'm not going to read the effects for all the Paleozoics because they all have the same summoning effect. So the first card we're running is 3 Paleozoic Dominion. And basically what this Paleozoic card does is it allows you to target a face-up card on the field, discard a card, and banish it. When this card is in your graveyard, if a trap card on the field is activated, you can special summon this card out of your graveyard in attack or defense mode. It is a level 2 aqua monster. It can't be affected by other water monster effects, and if it's special summoned this way, when it leaves the field, is banished, except when it's a seed. It goes to the graveyard then. This card here is awesome because it gives you so many outs for a lot of monsters that either you can't destroy or you really don't want in the graveyard. Like earlier, I was playing testing this card. I was going against Burning Abyss, and I didn't want to get that Dante in the graveyard, so I just banished it. Really, really good card. And not just that, it allows you to you're allowed to discard any card. So it could be a Paleozoid or a Frog. So it really helps you out. It really allows you to get those cards in the graveyard. So now we're running 3 Ordinoid, sorry about that. And basically what this card does is it targets a spell or trap card on the field and destroys it. Plain and simple. Then we have 3 Canadia. Canadia is a great card because it basically books a monster on the field. You target a monster or one of your opponent monsters and you put it face down. You'd be amazed how many times this card saves my butt. Then we have 3 Pikas. Basically what this card does is you can discard 1 Paleozoic card and draw 2 cards. Last format, this card wasn't all that awesome, but this format, this card is killer because you have so many Paleozoics. This is one hell of a draw card. You really want to get this to your hand this format. Really, really strong. Pluses for days. Then we have 2 Paleozoic Marmera. So what this Paleozoic card does, it allows you to send 1 trap card from your deck to the graveyard. It doesn't have to be a Paleozoic monster, but the best part about it, you know you're going to send a Paleozoic monster trap. So this card here really allows you to fill up your graveyard. And not just that, I usually bluff. So my opponent blows it up or something of that nature. I'm like, okay, I'll just chain and send a Paleozoic to the grave and special summon 1. So really, really strong. We have 1 Paleozoic Linchella. Now, Linchella I really like. I originally had him at 2, but I cut him down to 1. And basically what this does, it targets 1 banished card, removed from play, and sends it to the graveyard. So this allows you to get your banished Paleozoic cards back. It allows you to get your frog monsters back. And not just that, you can take some of your opponent banished cards and put it back to the graveyard. Very, very strong. I might bump this back up to 2. We're running 1 Paleozoic Iodine. And basically what this card does, it gives your monster, any monster on the field, 500 attack and defense. So usually I use this during damage step. I really didn't want to draw into this card. This is more of something I want to send to the graveyard and not something I really want to have in my hand. I hate drawing into it, but he's a pretty good Paleozoic, but he's at 1 because I don't want to get this card on the hand. And then we have 1 Paleozoic Hallucigenia. Basically, he has the attack of 1 monster on the field. Really, really strong. Damage step. You know, your opponent's trying to attack over something, or you're trying to attack over something. Have that attack and defense. Once again, I really don't want to have many of these in my hand, so I cut them down to 1. So that's all of the Paleozoics. We're going to go into the other traps. 3 Anti-Spell Fragrance is strong. I mean, it shuts down so many decks. It's just unfair. Your opponent's playing Penimals. Well, guess what? All their stuff is getting shut down. They can't play. Not just that. A lot of times, people have to set their stuff like you got to set your stuff. And by the time they get ready to play it, you can go off. Just really, really strong. There's just no reason why I would take this out. We're running the 3 Jars. Jars is really, really strong. You draw a card, but you know how I like to play it. I like to play it on my opponent in phase. In phase, I play Jar. Target one of my Paleozoics in the graveyard. Special summon. Draw a card. Plus for days. Now, this is what I made room for when I took out some of my Paleozoics. We're running 3 Floodgate Trap Holes. I feel like this card is really, really strong. I really like this card to be... But to be honest, I'm actually going to take this out for dimensional barriers. I'm going to put 3 dimensional barriers in its place. But before the dimensional barriers, for a more budget build, this is where it's at, to be honest. So that's all for the traps. Now we're going to go into the spell cards. We run 3 Card of Demise. Oh my goodness, you'll be amazed how strong this card is in Paleozoics. Draw 3, and whatever you can't set or play, this discard it to the graveyard to end phase. This card here have won me so many games. It makes the deck so consistent. It is very, very, very strong. One hell of a draw card. Now for the frogs, we have 3 Duke Frogs. I really like this card because you can discard a water monster, special summon this card. And when this card is special summon, you can send a frog monster from your deck to the graveyard. Not just that, you can send this back to your hand. And you can normal summon it. And you can send a frog monster from your deck to the graveyard. Very, very good to going into totally awesome. Really putting those frogs in the graveyard. I really love this guy. We have 3 Duke Frogs. Duke Frogs, he has a big ass, 2,000 defense. He doesn't have an attack, but when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add a frog from your deck to your hand. So it always kind of gives a little bit of continuity when it goes to the graveyard, making sure you have something else in your hand. Usually, I don't summon this unless I'm going into something. Or I just need to stall for a little bit. Now we have 2 Rotentoten. The main reason I'm only playing 2 is because I can recycle this guy so many times. Basically, when it's in the graveyard, I can banish a frog monster to special summon this guy out of the graveyard to the field. Really, really strong. I felt like 3 was just clogging the deck. I really didn't need 3, so 2 was really, really good to come in here. And finally, we run, you know it, 3 of the water barrier statues. This format, I think barrier statues is going to be very, very strong. Not just that, I mean, it really shuts down your opponent unless they're playing Marmills or something of that nature. Because what ends up happening is that they're going to have to play a Regeki or they're going to have to summon and attack your monster before they can do anything. And usually, I'm going to have a very, very nasty back row. You're not doing much. Believe me. Oh, right. So for the extra deck, we have one of the best cards in the deck. We're running 3 totally awesome. Oh man, this card here is just very, very strong. So once per turn, you can tribute a water monster and negate. You can tribute a water monster and negate a card effect. And if you do, you can set that card on your side of the field. Not just that, on the standby phase, you can detach and special summon a frog monster from your deck to the from the deck to the field. So usually I'm gonna go for something like Swap Frog. I'm gonna special summon a Swap Frog from the deck to the field. Then I'm gonna send a frog from my deck to the graveyard. Not just that, when this card is destroyed, I can send 1 frog monster back to the hand. You can either recycle this or you can get a frog out of the graveyard, add it back to your hand. It all depends. I mean, this card here is really, really strong. Not just that, it's 2,200 attack. Very, very easy to get out. The next VIP of the deck is going to be 3 Apabinias. this card here really makes the Paleozoic deck. I mean, it really speeds the deck up. So basically what this card is, as long as you have a trap monster under this, you can detach and you can go into your deck and choose a Paleozoic card and add it to your hand. Not just that, it can't be targeted by other monster effects, but the really good card about this card, well, it's unaffected by monster effects, so it can be targeted. But the really good thing about this card is that you are allowed to play your Paleozoics from your hand, so you don't have to set your Paleozoics where your opponent can MST them or summon something like Danka Sanka. You can add your cards to your hand and play them instantly. Very strong. You can play your trap cards, your trap Paleozoics in your hand on your opponent's turn. Very strong card. Not just that, a very big butt. So it just sits there. Your opponent really can't do anything. It really helps you with your plays. It really helps you going into your Totally Awesomes. We have 3 of the Paleozoic big guy. Now, to be honest, usually when I get this guy out, I'm going to win. Basically, as long as it has a trap monster under it, you can you can detach a card and blow up a card on the field. Not just that, when a trap card on your side of the field is sent to the graveyard, you can mill a card. If it's a trap card, it goes to your hand. Very strong. I feel like he's a little more difficult to get out, but with Upabenia, he comes out a lot more often. Just very strong. Usually he's a last resort. So if Treat Toad just not giving the answers I need, I might just go into him to try to finish off game, to try to push for game. We have 2 Gotcha Gachus. Gotcha Gachu is just really a deck filler at the moment. And basically, I'm probably going to take him out. I'm going to take one out for a Degusto Phoenix. Gotcha Gachu is a good card. It's a good stall card from the last format. I just had room. I just kept it in there. So that's the base reason why Gotcha Gachu is still in there. We got our boy here, very good. So basically, as long as he has materials, he cannot be destroyed by battle. And when this card is attack, you can detach a material to bounce that monster. Very strong. He allows me to get over monsters that I just can't destroy, or the monster attack is just so big I just can't get over. I'll attack into it, take some damage, and bounce. And finally, we have 2 number 45s, really good card. Basically, you can detach and negate a face-up card on the field. Really strong. And for the side deck, it's plain and simple. We're running 3 Twin Twisters, all that back row hate. You know what time it is. For anti-meta and people who try to side against you, we're running 2 MST. Once again, more of that back row hate. I might bump 1 MST up. It all depends how the format is going to go. We're running 3 system downs. Basically, ABCs is a thing. I don't want to have no issues with them. Not just that. We have 1 acid ring. Now, I might take an acid ring out for a another MST. I'm just going to see how it works in this upcoming format. We have 2 Imperial Iron Walls. No cards can be banished, plain and simple. We have Gojin Match for people who just really want to go off. And finally, we have Electric Virus. Electric Virus is a very strong card. I feel like it's a very underrated card. A lot of people just don't know what this card does. So basically, you can discard this card and you can take 1 machine or dragon type monster on the field for a turn. Very strong. I mean, if I'm going to use this, usually I'm going to go for game, or I'm going to take something and just really screw you over. But that is the deck build. Please let me know how you like it. What would you add? What would you change? But right now, I feel like this deck is really strong. Paleozoics is going to be one hell of a deck this format. I believe we're going to see some Paleozoics top regionals, things of that nature. Totally Awesome is really awesome. But when it comes down to it, I got to say Totally Awesome and Upabenia is going to be the VIPs of this deck. But please like, rate, and comment, and share. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching. Matane.